Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, we need to take a look at Galarian Sirfetch'd V. Now, we did do a little bit of a video about Galarian Sirfetch'd V a little while ago, when we had a partial look. We didn't know everything, but we did have a pretty good look. So Galarian Sirfetch'd V then, what do we see? Well, we've got 210 HP, which is about average for a Pokemon V, honestly. Retreat cost of 2 as suspected, which means we do get a retreat cost for nothing with Air Balloon, which is quite nice. We do have a weakness to Psychic, and it really depends on this one, because Mewtwo and Mew is looking pretty gosh darn good, and that never really seems to go away. And Mad Party seems like it might be a deck which is here to stick around going forward. But then again, we haven't seen a huge amount of Psychic decks recently, so I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But we know that being a fighting Pokemon is awesome. We know that being a fighting Pokemon means you're hitting weakness against that new Vikavolt, against Eternatus, against Pikachu and Zekrom. I could keep going. It is, without question, at the moment, the very, very best weakness to be hitting, and that's awesome. Plus, we have access to Martial Arts Dojo, which does an extra 10 damage if you're using basic energy, 40 more if you're behind on prizes, and Karate Belt, which will reduce your attack cost by 1 fighting energy if you're behind on prizes. And yeah, fine, we're losing Diancie to rotation, but given all the really good fighting weak Pokemon that are coming around, that seems like a fair trade to me. So what does it do? Well, it's got a really handy ability that says once during your turn, when this Pokemon moves from your bench to the active spot, you may move any amount of fighting energy from your other Pokemon to it. And I like this. I really like this. We've seen this ability like a million times before. This is not a particularly new ability. I was using a similar ability on Machamp Prime back in the day. More recently, people have been using it with Articuno. Although, to be honest, that's mostly been there for the single energy GX attack. But still, being able to move all of your energy over is just absolutely awesome. Anytime you want to go from the bench to the active, you may move any amount of fighting energy from your other Pokemon to it. And it's very important to note that it says fighting energy, it does not say basic fighting energy. So Aurora energy here will absolutely count. Stone fighting energy here, it's not coming in Darkness Ablaze, but will be coming in the next set. Think of it like a double shield energy. It reduces damage done to the fighting Pokemon it's attached to by 20, that will be moved over. Because you're moving energy which is already attached, then any energy which can provide fighting will count here. It's not like Welder that cannot attach heat fire energy because it's not a fire energy when it's in your hand. This will absolutely work beautifully with any special energy that provides fighting energy. And essentially what we're doing here is using this as a surprise attacker. I mean, honestly, this for me is phenomenal with Colossal V Max. Colossal V Max is awesome, and it is proving to be a top deck over in Japan at the moment. For a single fighting energy, you do 40 damage, discarding the top card of your deck, and if that's an energy, you attach it to Colossal. So essentially what you do here is you attack with Colossal, attack with Colossal, attack with Colossal. Oh no! I'm about to get KO'd. At which point you use Galarian Sirfetch'd's ability to take all the energy off and whack Sirfetch'd in the active. And then your opponent has this really annoying choice to make. They can KO that Colossal V Max, which is almost KO'd at this stage. But the issue is if they do that, they're not taking out your attacker with all of the energy on. Or they can take out your attacker with all of the energy on to try and kind of slow you down. But the issue with that is that then they're taking 2 prizes when they could be taking 3. And that's what Galarian Sirfetch'd V does. It's not as good an attacker a lot of the time as something like Colossal V Max. But it lets you bring in a fresh attacker and put your opponent in a situation where they can take prizes, but they're taking prizes without hurting your board position, and then you can end up going and winning from there. I absolutely love this. This doesn't strike me as a kind of ability that puts it as a kind of 4 of in every deck, but as a lovely little tech, I adore it. Now, when we looked at this before, the big question was how much damage is it going to do? It's 200. Which is sad. I suggested it would either be 200 in line with Tapu Koko, 210 in line with Phalanx, or 230 in line with Zacian. They were basically the free equivalents because it's free energy, do damage, and then you can't attack next turn. It's on the lower end of them. It's down there with Tapu Koko, which is really sad. Numbers-wise, this is fine if you're hitting for weakness. In terms of hitting for weakness, the biggest, baddest Pokemon you're going to be up against is an Eternatus V Max, and they're rocking 340, so even if they whack a big charm on there and go up to 370, your 400 with weakness will get a KO. The issue here is that if you're not hitting for weakness, this is sad. Let's say you were hitting 220. 220 gets a one-hit KO against a Zacian V. Even 210 with a martial arts dojo, whether you're behind on prizes or not, gets a one-hit KO on a Zacian V. Now, you can still do it with a vitality band and a martial arts dojo, but essentially what's happened by putting this at 200 rather than 210, 220, 230, what Pokemon have done is made us work to get KOs on Pokemon V. Now, if you're behind on prizes, Martial Arts Dojo will put you at 240, and as a side note, I suspect that's probably why they've done it, and 240 will get any Pokemon V other than Steelix or Wailord, but Steelix and Wailord are, shall we say, a little bit special. They are over the top in terms of HP, and even Steelix, behind on prizes, Martial Arts Dojo Vitality Band will get the KO, but that's not exactly the easiest way to go about it. So we are slightly disappointed with the amount of damage you're doing. But I'm not sure how much I care. Because at the end of the day, right, this is great if you're behind on prizes. If you're playing this, you're playing Fighting Energy. If you're playing Fighting Energy, you're playing Martial Arts Dojo. And I know it's awkward to have to manipulate your turns for when Martial Arts Dojo will be at its maximum effectiveness. But the point is that you can. And that's the issue here. You have an option to do that. And a lot of good players will be able to. And that's kind of awesome. And the fact of the matter is, you are still smashing a whole bunch of Pokemon that are weak. And we shouldn't forget about that. That is a very good thing. But at the end of the day, I would like more damage. You're going to get single prize Pokemon, you're going to get stuff that's weak, you're going to get some Pokemon Vs, but you got to work for it, and you're not getting VMAXs, and you're not getting tag teams, unless you're hitting for weakness, which, to be honest, against a lot of the best ones, you actually will be hitting for weakness. I like this, and I do see it as a one-of in a lot of decks. I could see myself playing this in an Excadrill deck, for instance. I mean, let's take Excadrill as an example. And you know I love Excadrill, right? You know I'm a fan of Excadrill. Excadrill's sitting there doing 120 for a single energy, or 180 if you've got 3 or fewer cards in your deck. Well, it's also got 140 HP, and really maxes out at 180. You might need to do a little bit more. So in comes Galarian Sirfetch'd. And if you've got 2 fighting energy on the board, you can put this active, attach those 2 energy to it, attach a third from your hand, and you're off. Remember, you can share around your stone fighting energy here, so you may well end up getting Galarian Sirfetch'd V into the active with stone fighting energy, you know, maybe 3 of them on there. And now all of a sudden, you're actually doing so much better than we thought you would. I like Galarian Sirfetch'd V. I am worried about the low damage output. Comparatively low, it could be better. But having said that, we've got an excellent type. We've got a really nice ability. And the fact of the matter is, I can see this jumping in as a one-off in Colossal decks, in Excadrill decks, and in any other fighting decks that might be coming around. And for that reason, I think we got to give it 4 Wassies. I think it's a 4 Wassy card. It's kind of a lower end 4 Wassy card. I still don't think it's an amazing card, but I do think it's going to see a whole bunch of play, and for that reason, I think 4 Wassies is fair. But I'd like to know what you think. So let me know in the comment section, would ya? Go nuts, be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at The Wassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.